Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And for those of you that don't know our story, Ron and I did 15 years in prison. Ron doing time on the inside, while the kids and I did the time on the outside.
And out of our experience, we were able to develop a powerful curriculum called TYRO. TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
Or a founding father. And through the TYRO program, we are helping teach fathers how to become leaders in their home, their community, and their workplace.
Which is really, really exciting because one of the toughest jobs any man could take is that, being a dad, being a father.
Whether you are in prison or on the streets, it doesn't matter. That is the toughest role you will ever take on.
And really like the highest calling. You know, being a dad means everything, especially to those who you're a father too. You know, they're counting on you to be there when no matter what they're going through, you know, you're strong and you're steady, because I think that's really what's more important than anything else you can do, Dad, is to be steady.
That's exactly right. And so today, that's actually one of the things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about how to show your kids that you're steady, that you are the same no matter what environment you're in. And basically, we're going to call this, if you see something, say something.
And that's a tough place to be, because it kind of puts us dads in an uncomfortable atmosphere, you know, because, you know, we don't want to get involved. You know, some things may not be our business. And so we might say, you know what?
So we say. So we
know
think, oh, hey, you know what? That isn't any of my business. But the truth is, it is.
It is our business. And that's what we're going to talk about today, dads. On how do you rise up and have the courage to have a courageous conversation, right, with somebody you may not even know, or even just put yourself in a place where when they see you, they know that respect is involved, honor's involved, discipline's involved. Whenever you create that atmosphere, wherever you're at, that, and in fact, I can give an example. So in penitentiary, dads, so you guys can relate to this. So I remember when I was incarcerated, I could be at a luncheon table or even in the day room, right? I could be in the day room and I could be minding my own business, doing my own thing, but a group of guys would come over and they might be over standing above me or something while I'm on the table, right, and do what I'm doing. And they're standing next to me, they're talking, and one may say a swear word, and one may cuss, right? And all of a sudden they look down, they see me, and they would respond, oh, TJ, man, we're sorry. We didn't mean to cuss around you. I didn't tell them not to cuss, but because the way I carried myself, it set an atmosphere of respect and honor, that there was a certain way I conducted myself and went that way. So dads, that's what we're talking about.
So we're going to be talking today about if you see something, say something, because it's all part of really learning to be a man worth following, or a TYRO. Because if you're not rooting for the person next to you to make it, you can't get mad when nobody's rooting for you. So you want to find out more about what exactly we're talking about and how to do that? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And today we're talking about if you see something, say something.
And what that means, dads, is we're not asking you to become comfortable. You know, this is not a comfortable place to be. When you see something, see somebody disrespecting somebody, see something that is not kosher, see something that's influencing maybe your children around you, that you need to step in and say, whoa, stop, this is not the way to go. Right?
Right, that's right. So on today's show, we're going to talk about, well, first of all, what is it we're really talking about? And then why is it important? And then how to do it? Because there are times when you see something that really it isn't any of your business. And there are times when you see something that it is your business. And you need to be able to discern when to step up and say something and take a stand and when to walk away. And so today we're going to talk about that.
You know, and when we talk about dad stepping up and finding yourself in a place, you're not actually looking for somewhere where you can come to the rescue. It just happens that you're at a place and you're happen to see something. It was an opportunity to come in and be the great example that you are, Dad. It means to come in because you're not looking to make friends, Dad, right? Especially when it comes to your children and their friends. You're not looking to be the popular father where everybody...
You're looking to set the standard by which your children look to you as, wow, that's the standard by which my father lives, and he has that expectation for me. And when you set that standard, not just for your kids, but when other kids in the community know that that's the standard that you live by and that you're going to take a stand for it, it creates a new sense of safety for your kids. And so we really want to spend some time on this segment talking about, well, what in the world are we even talking about? What does that even look like? And so we want to share a couple stories with you about instances, times when we've seen something and we've said something.
And it is not easy. I'm going to tell you the truth right now that it is because you got to put in your place. You're not worried about what anybody else says because you're there to protect your children. And by protecting your children, you got to protect other kids. You got to protect other people. Because if you're not celebrating somebody else's kids to make it, then you can't get mad when nobody's celebrating yours.
That's exactly right. And so one of the things that we see are wrong is in society, we oftentimes see young people do things and we don't say anything because that's not my kid. That has nothing to do with me. But then when you're not around, and if your child makes a mistake, nobody is correcting your child either because we've adopted that. You know what? It's none of my business. It's somebody else's kid. It's not my responsibility. The truth is, it is your responsibility because when you set that standard, not only for your own children, but for other people's kids, it reinforces those same concepts for your child.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you a story of something that took place not too long ago. And so anyway, so we're at an event and our daughter is participating at this event.
It's a competition, right? So she's not sitting with us.
So she's in the event and we're watching, right? But behind us, there's things going on behind us that we're not aware of. But we're watching the people in front of us and the participants of the event. They're gawking at something. They're actually pointing fingers at something that's like to the left of me in the back corner, right? And so we're like, what are they looking at?
So our daughter's like waving her hands. They're waiting for judging. So they're waiting for the announcement on who wins. So that everybody's kind of congregated down in the center where we're up on these bleachers. And so all of the kids are pointing and looking. And so my daughter is like waving her hands and she's pointing at her dad, right? And so I'm like, okay, I said, well, Ron, Bria's looking at you and she wants you to look. And so then Bria's pointing up on the other side of Ron's left shoulder.
So I look and I see a young man and a young lady totally way crossing the border here.
Have you heard of PDA, right? Public displays of affection? Okay, well, like, way beyond appropriate.
They were in the corner, and not only are they doing a love scene, but they're doing a blatant love scene in front of everybody. And this is a daylight event. It's not dark.
And they're kids.
They're just kids, and they're up there.
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So I look down, and my daughter, I can see that she's expecting me because of the standard I set, and because of the way I conduct myself with her and among her peers, right? The boundaries. That she's expecting me like, Dad, go do something.
Right. And so Ron looks at me and I look at Ron and Ron's like, okay, now's the time to walk it out, to let Bria know that I'm going to hold the standard no matter what. And
so there's all these parents. We're not the only ones in the stands. Right. There's a lot of people in the stands
who have also seen it.
But no one is moving. So I get up and I move back, and now I can't see what the parents are behind me.
So as Ron gets up and he starts to walk up the bleachers all the way up to that upper left-hand corner, right? So everybody that's on my daughter's team is like, oh, like they can't believe he's going to do it. And then I look and I see the parents doing the same thing.
So it just, and all I did was I went up to the young man and young lady. I said, hey guys, how y'all doing? And they said, hey, we're doing great. So how long have you been married? And they looked at me like I was crazy, right? And they said, well, we're not married. I said, really? well, you guys act like you're married.
And they're like, what, 15,
Yeah.
14?
So I said, well, how old are you? And the young man says, well, I'm 16. And the young girl says, well, I'm 15. I said, well, young man, let me talk to you. So I took the young man off to the side and I sat him on the bleachers with me. And I just started begin to have a conversation with him about what it looks like to protect somebody.
And
right?
so while he's doing that, all of the kids down in the field go from, to, wow. And so as Ron finishes his conversation and walks back to his seat, we see our daughter from down there, thumbs up, Papa. And it was like, it reinforced for her, you know what, my dad is going to do the right thing because he is trying to help people become better everywhere he goes. So when we come back, we're going to talk more about why that's so important. When you see something, say something, especially for your kids. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And today we're talking about if you see something, say something.
We're not talking about becoming a champion where you're going to get, people are going to applaud you and you're going to win the race and stuff like that. This is where, where the rubber meets the road, Dad. This is what it means to be a true father, a true man of honor. Right?
We're also not talking about becoming that busybody, nosy neighbor who's always up in somebody's business. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about those moments that are unique opportunities to take a stand for the right thing, to make people better, and to reinforce for your children that your job is not just to help them become better, but to be a leader in your community and help the community become better.
You become that super dad or that superhero where you're not looking for fame and glory, but you're going to come in, you're going to make it right, you're going to set the standard, and you're going to move out and like nobody ever knew you were there because, but the residue of what you leave when you make people better and greater, they will lift you up. They will honor you in due time and stuff like that. But more importantly, when my daughter gave me thumbs up, that did it all for me because I want to be that for my daughter.
Because it was
right?
amazing because the same speech that Bria gets all the time when she's like, all right, Papa, all right, I know to be appropriate. I know to set boundaries. I know I shouldn't be kissing boys. I know to be careful. I know I don't need to be dating until I'm 18. All of those things that Ron is reinforcing for her all the time to help her reach her goals and be successful in life, then she's expecting him, listen to that word, she's expecting him to do the same thing for the people around her. And so even though she's complaining about that speech, when Ron went up and he spoke to that young man with respect and honor, respecting and honoring him, right? It instilled in her a sense of pride that, wow, my dad is going to hold the line no matter what.
And that's what we're asking you guys to do. You're a father. Okay, so you're behind bars, right? That doesn't stop you to become a man of honor. That doesn't stop you to become that influence, right? That person who can dictate in a way where your children will honor and respect you because you are holding the standard. You're living what you're preaching. You're living what you're spewing out. Your walk lines up with your talk.
And it was so important. That teaching moment was so vital in my daughter's life because she saw her dad not judge. So everybody in there was judging those kids. Okay, the truth is everybody in those stands looked and they were like, right? And so they formed an opinion about them. They didn't speak to them. They talked about them. They were commentators and spectators. And so Ron became a leader in their life, walked up to them, and actually gave them the opportunity to do something right and to rectify that situation so that their story could continue in a way that was positive for them and it didn't turn into a tragedy.
And, you know, when we talk about tragedies, we see it happen every day. You know, young girls, 14, 15, 16, pregnant, right? Because nobody stepped in to say something.
And even
Right.
worse, I mean, I'm going to say even worse than that, young boys and young girls dying every day on the streets, mostly from drug addiction and drug overdoses. And that's much because they get in these relationships that are unhealthy, and then they lose confidence in themselves, and they're looking for something to make them feel good about who they are. Well, when we don't say something and we don't intervene and give them the opportunity to live up to that, then we are part of the problem.
Dad, you are the antidote. When you become a TYRO and you begin to live the TYRO life, right? You know that you're a superhero. You're a crime fighter. And first of all, at home, preventing crime at home, preventing abuse at home, preventing disrespect at home, you know, but filling your house with peace, safety, trust, and love, right?
So if Ron had said nothing, we want to go back to the why, because we really want to make sure you understand why it's so important. In that moment, if Ron had said nothing, Bria would have been disappointed and she would have questioned the message that he's constantly telling her. Would have been like, okay, well, you tell me that all the time, but you won't tell anybody else that. Why is that message only for me? Why am I different? Why do I have to be weird, right? Instead of, wow, that's the same message that he's expecting every teen to live by. So, wow, that's the expected standard.
And so, you know what, dads, what we teach at our home now, this is what TYROs, we need to teach our children, right? Abstinence, right? Wait till your marriage. You know, we have a saying called DESK, D-E-S-K.
Right.
Diploma, employment, spouse, kids,
Right.
in that order.
And that's not just our saying. That's what research shows is the success sequence. So write that down. This is why this is so important to take a stand, so that your kids understand the success sequence. Say that, success sequence.
Success sequence.
That is what will help your children avoid poverty and then actually be able to live in a healthy way. First get their diploma, then employment, then a spouse, and then kids, in that order, and your children will experience the best chance of success in their lives.
Now, Dad, you might be thinking to yourself, well, you know what, it's too late. I'm incarcerated. I don't have no influence on my kids. That's not true. It's never too late to change course. It's never too late to change the world you live in. It is never too late. As long as you got breath, the story is not over. Now, when you decide to throw in the towel, this is why we as TYRO champions, we don't throw the towel in. We pick that towel up and we wrap it around our neck and we use it to wipe the sweat off our brow.
That's right.
Because we don't stop. We don't stop fighting for our family. No matter what position we're in, we still have the ability to be a cheerleader for our family. Come on, dads. This is what we're talking about. You become a TYRO champion cheerleader for your kids.
And that's why it's so important that if you see something, say something. And you find those moments, you find the things that, you know what, I have an opportunity to make somebody better. That's when you say something, not, wow, I have an opportunity to get somebody in trouble. I have an opportunity to demean somebody. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what men of honor do. What a man of honor does is walk in and intervene in order to improve somebody else's life. And in doing that, it sets the stage so that their children see that the expected standard is reinforced in their community. So stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to talk about how do you do it. Ron's going to share tips and tools on exactly how you can do that.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we're talking about if you see something, say something. You know, and this is really vital. And when you become a TYRO, you know, you set a new course for your life. You set a new standard for your life. In the past, we kept to ourselves. We didn't want to get involved in the community. We didn't want to get involved in the elections. We didn't want to make a difference. We weren't change agents.
Right.
We were
spectators.
Not only spectators, but we were poison, right, in our community. We didn't know it because we were unconscious. Signs and symbols are for the conscious man. And so when you see something, say something, because now you're different. You're a TYRO and you're alert now, and you're there to protect. You're like a crime fighter. You're a superhero.
That's right. And your kids need to know that about you. They need to know that you are going to stand up and do the right thing at all times.
No matter what.
Right. And it's going to benefit you, and it's going to benefit them. It's going to establish your reputation in the community as somebody that does the right thing, that is always looking out for other people and trying to empower other people. And it's going to cause your children to have more pride in you setting that standard for them.
You know, I want to talk about actually what took place. How did I manage this conversation with a complete stranger, a young man? How did I diffuse a situation where he could have been offended? He could have had a fit. He could have threw a temper tantrum.
That's right.
Remember, they're just children anyways, right? He's 15 years old, but he's acting like they're married, right? So he's acting like a grown man. So how did I treat him? Like a grown man. Hey, can I talk to you?
And this is really important because Ron has a great example of how do you do it. When you see something, how do you navigate it?
You know, there's a principle that we practice, plus, minus, plus. And if you can remember that, something positive, something negative, something positive. You always end on a positive note. So the first thing I said to this young man was, do you know what a man of honor looks like? And he answered.
No. Even before that, because as I'm watching, I see that Ron separated them,
right.
moved him away from the girlfriend so as not to embarrass him
That's right.
in front of the girl.
That's right. You got to do that. Take him aside like a young man. Take him aside like you would want to be treated. You don't want to be embarrassed in front of your girlfriend because you're already embarrassed because I've done exposed them. Right? I'm there. They're being confronted with a behavior that is not acceptable in public, right? Or for really their age, right? So I took him aside. I said, "Yo, man, let me talk to you for a minute." I sat him down. I said, "Man, so you really?" Okay, actually, I started coming. So you really like her, huh? He said, "Yeah. I mean, you like her a lot, right?" And he said, "Yeah, I do." I said, "Then why are you exposing her to all these spectators? You know, when you close your eyes and you're kissing her, right? Do you know who's watching you?" He said, "No, you can't see because your eyes are closed because everybody here." And there's like 200 people, right?
Oh, at least.
At least 200 people there. They all turn to look at you. So now you're exposing this little girl. You're exposing the girl you just told me you like a lot to this. Everybody's watching, so now you're like a movie. And he was like, "Oh, man." I said, "Do you know what a man of honor is?" He said, No, I heard of it. I don't. You're a man of honor, but you got to know you're a man of honor. But a man of honor doesn't conduct himself in this manner. A man of honor will protect and cherish that what he has been given. So her parents are trusting you to protect her. Do they know you're here? He said, "Well, yeah, they know." I said, "So they're trusting you that you're going to protect her and you're not going to expose her to the things that are out here, right?" He said, "Yeah." So one thing I see when I see you, young man, is a man of honor. I see a man of good character, the potential that is within you. And he started to light up. He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, but you got to know what that looks like in you." He said, "Because first of all, you're out here, you're making out with her." I said, "Don't do those things in front of, you don't do that. If you cherish her, you want to treat her like the queen that she is. You want to let her know that you honor her." I said, "But doing this," I frankly, I just told him, I said, "Is she a whore?" And he said, "Well, no." I said, "Then why are you treating her like one?" Because you're presenting her to the community as your whore. And he was like, wow, I didn't mean to do that. I said, exactly, you don't mean to. I said, so now what you do is you take her and you go back and you apologize to her and you hold her hand and you take her from this place. Take her home. Take her, go on a ride. This is a carnival, man. You're supposed to have recess here. Play, have fun here. Not that. And he said, you know what, you're right. And he apologized. But it could have went the other way, right?
Right. But because Ron treated him with respect, because Ron acknowledged that the action did not define the person, separated the action from the individual and said, hey, what you're doing isn't right. You are better than this, and you have an opportunity to make it right. And so when you go into any situation, whether it's with your child or whether it's that if you see something, say something opportunity, always remember, separate the action from the person.
And that's really key. And you're diffusing a possible hostile situation because you remember, you're already dealing with somebody who's already on defensive because he's been exposed, right? But you want to come at him like you would want to come at him, with honor and respect, and not accusatory.
Right, not even just how you would want somebody to talk to you, but go further than that. How would you want someone to talk to your child?
There it is, right
if
there.
they saw your child doing something that was harming their reputation, harming them, getting them off the path of success, how would you want someone to address your child? And that is how you need to intervene and hold that standard. And when you think about the opportunities that you have, really choose them carefully and say, okay, you know what? Here's a great opportunity to impact somebody else's life. Not here's a great opportunity for me to show off, because that's not gonna work.
But I tell you what, out of all those parents, why was I the only one who was willing to step out of my comfort zone, go over there, all the way over there, and say something to them? Where are the rest of the parents, dads? So we're counting on you. Your children are counting on you because you're a TYRO dad.
So when we come back, we gotta take a short break, but when we come back, we're gonna wrap it all up and give you 3 tips, 3 things you can do right now to help your children know that if you see something, you're gonna say something. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and today we are talking about if you see something, say something.
And another way to put that is if you don't want to get nothing done, stay on the sidelines. Don't get involved. Don't get in the game. Stay where you're at, Dad. Stuck in the mud. Right?
But if you really want to set a new expectation and standard for not only your own life, but for your children, then you've got to implement if you see something, say something, and get involved. And so as we finish up and wrap up with this last segment of our show, we want to leave you with practical tips, things that you need to be doing in order to implement this effectively.
Well, you said the first one already, expectations. Clearly define the expectations you have for your children. Because if you don't clearly define it, right, not only will they try to define it, but you'll also bring confusion. Right, and we want to place our home where there's no confusion, but a clear standard is set. Your expectations, you've laid them out, and everybody knows what's expected.
And we highly recommend that you make DESK the expectation. Diploma, employment, spouse, kids, in that order. And if things have already kind of gone awry is what I meant to say. Remember that it's never too late to get it back on track. So
That's right.
Even if your kids have made mistakes, help get them back into that DESK plan as quickly as possible.
So the second thing is practice makes what? Permanent. You got to begin to practice these principles in your own life. You know, you can't be found wanting and you're saying something but doing something else. Make sure that you yourself are practicing these principles.
No matter what you used to do, you need to begin to practice the new principles in your life right now. You have a new code, a new way of living. Because remember, if you're not who you say you are, you will be exposed for who you really are.
So the TYRO way of life is being a man of honor, man of good character, and holding the line, holding the standard.
Right. So number 1 was what?
Expectations.
Number 2 is what?
Practice makes permanent.
That's right. And number 3 is inspire. And that means find opportunities right where you are to go and help people, offer help them actually overcome negative decisions and get back on the right track.
And you are in a great place, a great opportunity. Your field where you get to be trained at, we call it the penitentiary, but really it's like it's a school, man. It's a school of learning where you're at and a school of opportunity. You're in the day room on the yard. Everybody's in a state of depression to some degree or another, but you have an opportunity to begin lifting others up, making them better right where they're at.
So as you practice these principles, you will be equipped as you transition out. The standard will already be set. Your children will be seeing how you're living inside, or they're going to be hearing about it, or they're going to get to see the benefit of it as they transition you back into their lives.
So thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. And our mission and our goal here is that the tidbits and the things that we've given you today will help you to become the best dad you can be.
So until next time, always remember that
We are rooting for you.